Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just a comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. Jana is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Grace and peace, everyone. This is James Trice again. Welcome to another edition of You Are Not Alone, YANA. And it's a space for Black men, for us to come together to talk, to be real, to be heard, to be listened to, and to walk this journey of life together. And on today's episode, we have Wendell Ward, individual who I've been knowing for a couple years. He was part of a program that I was running a while back ago, and so I wanted him to come to be a part of the show. We ain't got to get into all of that, but I really want to focus on him and focus on what he wants to talk about, what he finds important, and that's what this space is for. And so I want to welcome Wendell Ward to the show. And so, Wendell, briefly introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about who you are.
Hello, everybody. Hello, guys. I am a media personality. I do radio. Also do a lot of community work with working with different people with like getting basic needs, food, um, access to resources that are available that they may not know about, or just things that I can offer from my organization, which is a food rescue organization and also basic needs. We offer those things. So basically, I'm just like a man about town. I'm a community man, and I like to really just try to uplift the talent in our community, the artists, local artists here in the Twin Cities, and and beyond. I am on the WFNU Frogtown Community Radio. So yeah, I'm just like people call me the paparazzi.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm helpful. I'm the helpful paparazzi.
Okay, the helpful paparazzi. So talk about your radio show again. You have a radio show. Then what is the focus of the radio show?
So my radio show basically focuses on getting presenting and giving spotlight to artists here in the Twin Cities that are like
Okay.
I find to be really amazing because I love music. Music is one of the things I feel like could bridge and bring everybody together a little bit. So if I find somebody that has really good music that is having a great positive message that is good towards the Black community or just the community abroad, I like to try to make sure that I push those songs and put them out there. But like I play a song called Feeding St. Paul, which is by AC the Chemist and St. Trip and Krishana and Lazy Bone. Lazy Bone is from Bone Thugs and Harmony. He created this
Right.
song Feeding St. Paul for an organization that I partnered with called Feeding St. Paul that helps the community. So I use my show to really just push a positive narrative and also give attention to these young artists that are working really hard on their music that really won't get no airplay on a lot of different other radio stations that really would like to be on. So I try to use my platform to magnify this platform by using these artists and myself.
What is the station again? What's the call number?
It is 94.1 FM
Okay.
WFNU Frog Community Radio. So it's a community radio station that got started out in 2016 when Obama put out the Free Journalism Act,
Oh,
passed that.
wow.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
how
So
we
this is
it's because of Obama.
so you created the station.
No, it was created through community, and it was started through I think it was several organizations that was a part of this that has since, separated, but and now it's self-standing nonprofit on its own. So it was like a
Okay.
community effort that sparked, and a lot of us that are in the community liked it, so we pushed to keep it going. And now our station heads is Philip Grayshaw and Katie Giselle, and
Okay.
those are the people you want to reach out to if you ever want to do something. Reach out to those two.
Okay. Okay. So what are you most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about making people understand that love does exist. Um, there's power in love, and there's power in forgiveness. Right now, I'm seeing that a lot of people are stuck on feeling like they need to have revenge, or they need to just stay mad at this person because they did this to them. And you don't. I find that forgiveness it benefits you both times. You get what I'm saying? It's beneficial because
Hmm.
you're letting go for yourself. You're freeing that person of this, and you're letting that go for yourself as well. So you forgive that person and you forgive yourself. Both things benefit you. You know.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
feel like forgiveness, love, and I think that that's what I'm most passionate about right now
Hmm.
is pushing that, because there's a lot in my life that I had to forgive and move forward, and understanding as I done that, it made me feel better. It was better for me to be able to forgive certain people in my life or certain things that's happened, and move forward. Even now, like last night, I had an artist that was supposed to show up and they didn't. I didn't jump to conclusions to feel like they just was dissing me or something like that. I said something might have happened. But back when I was in my 20s, I might have had a lot to say, you know what I'm saying? And been really,
Right.
radical. But today, at my age, and I realize like, no, I can't, that's not what's going to happen here. I'm going to be smart enough to know that something happened, because I've been communicating with the person all day. So something happened, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Hopefully, next time they can make it, but I'm not going to make it turn it into something nasty. You get what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I do. I do. How do we do that? How do we as black people, because I want to focus on black people today. I want to focus on black men. How do we
Mhm.
forgive those who have hurt us? And let's talk about this as individual. How does one do forgiveness? When somebody's hurt you really, really deeply, really bad, and usually the people who hurt you are the people we have expectations of, right? How do you do it? What helps you forgive?
Well, what helps me forgive is one thing I could say this is like this is these bubbles. These bubbles, I got
Ah,
brother Melvin Giles. He's
yes, yeah.
cool.
Rest in power. Rest in power.
And
Yeah.
I sitting and talking with him about certain things I felt about my father or my mother. Um, he had to basically tell me, and thinking and bringing it back to the word is honoring thy parent, honoring thy mother and thy father. Also, trying to think of ways to put yourself in their shoes, and thinking about what they had to experience at such a young age, and how would you have experienced that? How would you have handled that at that age if you were a parent at that age, or had gotten married at 18, and trying to deal with this? And because I was so mad at both my parents for getting divorced for a long time, and for me, it was just like, I never understood that. I was mad at them, but I had to realize, like, okay, I can't be mad at them about that. I have to I have to get over this, because I'm not them. I never would have got married at that age. My own self thinking, so we all our own different people. We're all different people. Even though they're your parents, you're your own person still. So one thing that I did learn about certain things about forgiveness, I can tell you, is sometimes it takes you to go through it, to get the lesson, to understand why and how someone reacted the way that they reacted. Sometimes it takes you to go through it to be able to forgive them, because you
Right.
do the same thing and have to forgive yourself.
Okay.
So
And so,
sometimes,
no, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, I was going to say, reiterate the same thing. It was just that sometimes
so is that the answer? Are you saying it's us putting ourselves in other people's shoes who have hurt us
Mhm,
is it helps us to forgive. So
mhm.
what if you never done anything to this person? It was just out of the blue, an uncle or auntie or whatever else, and they did something to violate you and hurt you.
Yeah.
how do you forgive
For me,
that?
for me, I feel like I have to forgive it. And how I forgive it is because I know if I hold on to this, it's going to be toxic for myself. It's like um, making poison and trying to give it to them, but drinking it yourself. You
Yeah,
know, it's the same thing. So, like for me, I might be mad for a little while, and I might think about it for a while. I might have to take a month or two to get over it. But at some point, I have to forgive them because it's like we're human and we make mistakes. There's going to be mistakes made, and hopefully they learn from it. If it's something that is continually happening from this one individual, then I know how I have to treat them. I know, like, I gotta treat you, be over there, I be over here. Hey, how you doing over there? You know, but I can't get involved in a space where I allow you to manipulate me and my emotions and feelings again. You're shut out
right,
from that. You know, if you're a
right,
person that's a repeat offender, you get what I'm saying?
right. So what if if a person hurts you deeply, how do you heal from that though? I mean, I know you talked about forgiveness, right? And forgiveness is a form of, it's a process, and it's a form of healing, right? But
Letting go in
how do you
time.
heal from it? Huh?
Letting go. You have letting go in time.
What
Letting
does that
go.
look like though? What does letting go look like though? If somebody hurts
Letting,
you, I'm gonna give you just an example, right? Your kid, and a lot of black men don't talk about this, being violated as a kid, sexually violated by a family member, a babysitter, somebody, a relative, a close friend, or whatever, or friend of the family, or somebody that's close to you. You were a kid, and some adult violated you sexually. How do you
Mhm.
forgive that and move on?
Some things are unforgivable. Some things literally are. Things like that is kind of, I can't forgive a person for doing something like that.
Wow.
It's not in my wheelhouse. If you do something like that, you need you have tarnished and hurt, and especially if it's at a young age, you have really developmentally screwed this child to all the way till adulthood. So for me, it's hard to forgive anyone that does that,
So
or have
how
done
does that person then how does that person
that
heal
person,
who's
how
been
the person
violated?
is. Now, as I don't know because I've never experienced it, so I
Uh-huh.
can't say how they would be able to forgive someone because I never experienced that, and with putting myself in their shoes, I couldn't.
You couldn't forgive that person who did it if you
I would
were
not be able to.
okay.
I would be able to know that that's what they did. I'm mad that they did this to me. And as an adult, how do you forgive that person? It's really hard to forgive that person. I mean, you may be able to say I forgive them, and you can forgive yourself, but you really don't have a you can't forgive yourself because you didn't do anything. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you with that type of situation, it's hard to forgive that person. It's a long life of a tortured soul for that person with dealing with I can't this person did this to me and I couldn't do anything about it because I was a child. Now, me on the other hand, for abuse, it's different. Like getting beaten is a little bit different than sexually abused,
Hmm.
you know. So for me, like I've dealt with getting beat, and I was able to forgive because I said they were too young and too stupid to understand what they were doing, because that's what happened to them. And so they repeated the same thing. And I think that this beatings is just a generational curse from slavery. When it comes to like adults, and if it was an adult that was doing this to a child, and I'm in the child's head and thinking about forgiving this adult, it would be very, very, very difficult for me to forgive this adult. Now, anyone can be forgiven for anything if God puts the power within them to do so. I think that,
So that's what I'm getting at. It's forgiveness. Because the whole point we're talking about is forgiveness.
well, if God
Right?
puts it on their
Because
heart to forgive that person, they'll forgive them.
okay, so
We
that's so the question I have,
forgive, right?
right? This is my question is then how does a person forgive?
A lot of
Tell me
times
what
it
forgiveness
takes
will
a
look
lot
like.
of healing and praying and things like that to get to that point, even if it's something that's really wrong. But I'm saying, like, for me, I live and preach and say we need to work on forgiveness for everyone and different things in life, but I
Right.
also know that some things are unforgivable, like sexual assault. You know what I'm
So
saying?
that's
That's
so sexual assault is unforgivable.
it can be for some people. Some people don't have the wheelhouse to forgive things. Some
Okay,
people
no,
do.
no, I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm just trying to get an understanding of this. So
No,
at first you said sexual assault is unforgivable, and then you said it depends on certain people. But wouldn't that be for all sin? It depends on the person to forgive the other person, whether it's sexual assault or anything else.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I think that it depends on your wheelhouse of forgiveness. If you can forgive
Ah,
someone through sexual assault, and if you could put yourself in somebody's mind frame as a person that's been assaulted, can you put yourself in the mind frame of your assaulter and understand why they
wow.
did this?
Should
You
so
know,
does a person who's been assaulted have to put their
no, they
should the
shouldn't.
should the person who's been assaulted have to
No.
put their mind in the mind frame of their assaulter, of the person who violated them?
Mm. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. But I find that most people do because they have thoughts. Everybody thinks. So they'll say, I wouldn't want to put myself in a guy. I would never, girlfriend, no. But yes, people sit and they think, they use their brains. They sit there and they think, why would this person do this to me? Would they want to do this? So, oh, they wheelhouse. Maybe they're not getting no sex at home. Maybe not this is happening. Maybe this, and it's not my fault that they did this to me. So
Yep.
sometimes
Yep.
some people have to even work within their wheelhouse of forgiveness for themselves to even work towards forgiving that person. People have forgiven Jeffrey Dahmer. People have forgiven a lot of these serial killers that's killed their family members. The unforgivable. There's a lot of things that's unforgivable people, but people that love the creator and can work within their heart to be able to forgive another human being for being human. That
So
would be
so 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 they so so forgive so there's nothing unforgivable.
I find with God there isn't. God,
Okay.
if God,
Okay.
if God can forgive those men that was standing next to Jesus on those, I, I feel like God, and I think that your healing and the process of how you heal or how you talk things out, if you go to therapy,
Okay.
one of the good things to help with forgiveness is therapy. It's really not because the forgiveness is not for them, it's for you.
That's right. So
It's for you. So for me,
right.
it's like it's hard. Yeah, you don't want to forgive this person because they did this and they
Right.
did that or whatever. But the bigger picture is you're harnessing all this hate in your heart, this stress for, you know, and the sooner
Yeah.
you let that go, the better
Right.
off you will be.
Right. So how critical is it for a person who's been either violated, assaulted, or offended, or something wrong done to them, regardless of what the wrong is?
I
How
would say,
critical, let me finish my point here. How critical is it for them to forgive? And then how does one forgive? What does it take?
well, I would say it's how critical it is. I would say it's very imperative because it's good. It's like your health. You're
Mm.
stressing yourself. You're stressing your body, and people don't think that because they can't see the stress that it does. They think it doesn't exist. but
Right.
it definitely exists. You know, we're all stressed out, you know, and that type of stuff added to it can cause body failures and things like that. It's stress on your body, you know, thinking about a lot. You know, I'm sitting here thinking about exactly what we're talking about, and I'm thinking about the state of America and the world, slavery. How can we ever forgive those people for what they've done to us? You know, and the erasure of the the black indigenous folk, the just the now the and the light skins versus the dark skinned Indians thing going on now. It's like it's the is it ever going to be easy to forgive this what we call America? Will we able be able to forgive this? Because I find it to be one of the biggest rapes and tragedies of of existence. So like for me, I was like, I think that it, you know, with me, I pray every day and I talk to the creator every day about forgiveness for what happened. How do we move forward and not be angry in front of those people? What was the other part of your question?
And how does one forgive? So how critical is it for us who've been hurt by someone else to forgive that someone else, regardless of what the hurt is? How critical
Mhm.
is it for us to forgive? And then how does one forgive? I mean, I know you talk to the Creator, and you pray, and that's
Yeah.
God. Tell me, how does one forgive? And let's be clear about this, right? That
Mhm.
that well, just beside that, how does one forgive?
Well, like I said, one of the things is through, you know, meditation and prayer, um, therapy. I would highly suggest therapy, talking things out. And if you can't afford therapy, having someone that you know you could talk to that is not going to go run around telling everybody else, you know, um, a good friend that you trust, you know, or therapy. They have where you can do it over the phone or over
Mhm,
Zoom. They have it where you
mhm,
can go in the office, get you up
mhm,
a therapist,
mhm,
a black male therapist if you need it to be, or
mhm.
have a good friend that you can confide in, that you can talk to, that has a good head on their shoulders.
Right,
Because this will help you work towards that. Because like I said, brother Melvin Giles is what helped me be able to do a lot of forgiveness for a lot of things, even just with my family, with
right.
my family. So I I
But
know
I
it's
want us
hard.
to be right. I want us to thank you. I was going to get right to that because I think it's very critical for us to know, and just let's make this very clear that forgiveness is not easy,
Hmm.
particularly with the depth of hurt and pain that you may receive from another individual. Forgiveness is not always easy to do,
Right.
right? So I want us to lay that out, right?
Yeah.
Be clear about that.
It's very, yeah, because one thing that I do know is that you will feel it. You know, you will feel it. Whatever it is you went through, you're gonna feel it. And when during that healing process, you're gonna feel it more. It's gonna be
Yeah.
just as painful because you got to talk about it, you got to express it, and you're gonna feel those same emotions revving back up. So you got to be prepared for that. You know, like I said, like I really hate that, you know, people go through anything like that, especially when it comes to SA and things like that. I really would not want anyone to have to go through a process of forgiveness for that. But that's the world we live in, and you know, it's crazy. You know, and trying to deal with forgiveness for what happened and being on this what we call America now. It's that is a process for me that's been very difficult.
Hmm.
You know, I don't have the person to go and talk to about that. A lot of that is through prayer.
Hmm.
A lot of that is
Okay.
through prayer, and appreciating what the Creator has given us. You know, and throwing away what we assimilated to believe. You
Hmm.
know.
Wow. I mean, it's still a lot to unpack here. I know we got just a few minutes left, and this is an interesting conversation. I think we should revisit it.
Mhm.
And as you know, as we talked about before, I mean, the conversation just flows out of answers to questions, man. This is an interesting conversation. Let me ask this last two questions here. And what final words would you say to people who are listening to this conversation today? What would you say to people? What would you leave people with as we close up today? And then what is a favorite quote or book or song or something that inspires you and that um, helps you get through life.
Okay. Well, what I would say is forgiveness is not easy to do, but it's doable. And I would say to try to be in that process to try to work from love, um, and love for yourself. Sometimes you got to be a little selfish with this forgiveness. Sometimes you got to do it for you. You know, and I would say one of my favorite quotes is one of my co-hosts says all the time is "One world, one people."
Hmm.
And I also feel that it should not take aliens to come from the sky to realize that we're all human beings.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Excuse me. I apologize for that. Thank you so much. That was wonderful, man. Thank you so much for joining me. And
Yes.
Wendell, we got to get you. Oh, thank you for the bubbles. Hallelujah. Thank you. We have to get you back on. And I want to go deeper into the subject of forgiveness and then sexual assault because that's a big one. And a
So,
lot of men are not talking about that. A lot of us are not talking about our history and us being a lot of us men, period, have been sexually assaulted, and we don't talk about it. And we need to
mm,
talk about it so we can get over it and move on with our lives because it impacts every area of our lives, particularly our relationships. And so, thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Our gentlemen, thank you so much for, I'm sure there's some ladies who are listening as well.
throw it
For
in.
you have been listening to YANA, really a space for Black men to talk and to walk this life's journey together because we're not meant to do life alone. Remember to go to my YouTube page, YANA, YANA, James Trice, like and subscribe. And thank you so much. I will be releasing episodes weekly on my YouTube page. Go to it, like and subscribe, and get others to do the same thing. Until then, until next time, grace and peace, everyone. And remember, we're not meant to do life alone. Yana is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard because none of us are meant to do life alone.